Abel Sanchez gym. I wanted to be here for so many years, but I made it. Abel, thank you very much for inviting me. Absolutely fantastic place. Let's start with that. The place, you build it. People are knowing you as a great character builder for your fighters, but you also build the place where we're in, and there is Oscar de la Hoya involved, I heard.
Yes, I built this gym. I started in 1999. Bought the property, started in 1999. I built it as a gym for my friends to use. It's actually a duplex, 3,200 square feet and 2,800 square feet, 4,000 square foot gym. But I ended up finishing it and retiring for a little while. Then in late 2008, I got a call from the De La Hoya people, wanting them to know if my gym was available. I had already started building most of it for my friends to use, so they were able to use it for, I think, 2 months in late December when he fought Pacquiao. And then people started hearing that I had a gym and started calling me. I started getting fighters, and before you know it, I was busier than I'd ever been before.
And walking around the gym, I saw the plaque, which says, I'm going to paraphrase it, but it's right here, Kronk Gym in California. Not many people know about this part of Kronk Gym and history and the great Emmanuel Stewart. If you can let us into this, how this thing happened.
Yeah, well, Emmanuel Stewart came up here to train Oscar. I believe it was in late 99, maybe early 99. And when he came up here, he thought he was going to stay. He thought he was going to have a long career with Oscar, and he was going to bring some of his fighters here. So he decided that he wanted to lease this building over on the boulevard, which is now a paint store, by the way. And we, myself and 3 or 4 other people, we helped him remodel it and built the Kronk Gym in Big Bear. Actually, that was really a catalyst in me designing this building for Emmanuel and for Lennox. I put 2 master bedrooms in one of the main units so that Emmanuel and Lennox could stay here. But because of Emmanuel's schedule and all his things that he had to do and all his commitments, it was impossible for Emmanuel to stay up here. Impossible for him to spend any consistent time up here. So it ended up that his gym was only open maybe for 2 or 3 fights with Oscar, and he had another guy up here named Bob running it for him, a coach up here. And then eventually it just faded out because Emmanuel wasn't here. It wasn't something that could be kept up. Bob wasn't the kind of coach that Emmanuel was, obviously, and so it closed down. But that was really the catalyst and the want for me to build this gym.
One of many differences between this place and any other place, I saw it in my 30 years of doing boxing, is you have to know the address, Abel, because there is no big summit, Abel Sanchez gym. There is just a white building, and there is a lot of fighters who want to work here. What did they want to work here outside of having you here as a man who is going to help them to be the best who they could be?
Well, first of all, the reason that there's no big sign out there is because I really didn't want to publicize anything. This is a private facility. It's a facility where guys come to concentrate on what they want to do with their careers. And for me to have people knowing where it's at and people bothering us, people coming in and knocking and wanting to see some of the fighters is not something that it's not the reason why they come here. They come here for the solitude. They come here for the solitude and for the altitude. They come here because of the history lately, but I think more because they're searching for something within themselves. And if they come here and they're here 3 or 4 weeks, like I ask, then they find out if this is the place that they want to be. It's not for everybody. It's a special fighter that stays up here in the altitude and the solitude and carves out a career because the career starts here. The fights are the fun part. This is the hard work, and it's extremely hard. Not everybody makes it. There's been a lot of great fighters that have come up here that don't stay a couple weeks. They leave. A lot of great fighters that have come up here and done that.
But this is the part which divides men from the boys. I mean, we all know it. I mean, not every time, because I am not saying whoever decides Abel Sanchez and the summit is not for him will not have a career. I'm not saying that, but also what I'm trying to say is it gives them look into themselves, what they can actually push themselves to do. You're trying to push the fighters?
Absolutely. I think that here is where I take them to well, first of all, let me say this. I run a very military camp. Okay, I run a military camp where I'm in charge. If you come up here to have me coach you or have me work with you, you have to understand that there's rules. That there's rules about getting up in the morning. There's rules about running at a particular time. There's rules about not being late. I'll never be late. And I expect my fighters never to be late either. To the gym, to the run, to appointments, to whatever it is that we got to do. I think that's the discipline that you have to have up here to know that there is a routine that we follow up here. And when we follow that routine, that's going to translate into the fight too. That routine, whatever it is that you do, you're going to be disciplined enough to hold it together in a difficult fight. So once they figure that out, that there is rules and stuff up here, then it's easier for them. But I believe, I've always believed since I've started coaching, that these young men, these kids, they want somebody to lead them. They don't want to be the one coming into the gym and saying, well, I want to do this and I want to do that and they want somebody to lead them. So that way they come to the gym, there's no thought pattern. They know what they got to do. They're being told what to do. They come to work, they do their thing. Yeah, they're the stars in the fight, but in the gym, they follow a routine.
But you know what? I am a little bit younger than you, but not much younger. Abel, we know each other a long time, and we know the boxing game is changing. I mean, sport is changing. People want more like trainers, maybe being friends, maybe spend some time with them on the social media, maybe being more like a colleague than the disciplinarian, who you are. And so, is it make them lesser fighters?
No, I think that if you give in, if you allow that to be, then it will be. If you, like a parent, if a parent, okay, it's okay, you can only stay out to 10. No, I want to stay out to 12. Okay, stay out to 12. If you don't insist on things at the beginning, then you're going to get bowled over. They're going to run over you. So I make sure that I am insistent, but everything that I ask them to do, I will do myself. I will not be late for anything. I will be in the gym 20, 25 minutes before I'm supposed to be
leading
there.
by example.
Exactly. So once we establish the fact that I'm in charge, then everything is easy, because that's exactly what they want. I'm not going to be their friend. I very seldom find out about their personal lives because I don't want to know about their personal lives. My job is here in the gym. My life with you is here in the gym. What you have going outside the gym has got nothing to do with me. I don't want to. I mean, we'll talk about it. We'll discuss it, but if you want to, but it's not something that I think should impact or influence what we do here in the gym.
Before we start talking about what you're doing right now, without mentioning any names, I heard that you are one of those guys that some of the promoters from all over the world decided, okay, I'm going to send them some guys because I know they're good. And then Abel Sanchez is looking the guy who's supposed to be good, and you're saying, no, I don't think so. So in the end, it's not the promoters or managers are asking you to do. In the end, it's your conviction about certain guy. So maybe they were thinking, okay, this is not the good guy, but then he becomes the great fighter. So in the end, you are not just a man who anyone can say, train the guy because I think he's good. If you decide the guy is not good, he's not going to work with you.
You know, I would rather have a guy, honestly, I would rather have a guy who gives me 100%, that has a little less ability than the guy that has all the talent in the world but is lazy. I would rather work with a guy that I can work with, that wants to work with me, who we mesh together. And that's not necessarily the best fighter. The best fighter maybe is a prima donna. The best fighter maybe you can't work with. I would rather have fun in my gym. I would rather have success in my gym because we're working hard and because we're enjoying what we're doing, than to have to come to my gym thinking, oh God, I got to work with that guy today. I don't really want to. So if I take a look at a guy, and I agree to coach him, it's because we're on the same page. The fighter and I are on the same page. The fighter understands what I need, and he's willing to give it to me. And if he does that, and I accept him, we'll have success. We'll have success because I think that I judge talent, the kind of talent that I want to see, the correct way, and we've had success in my whole career. I've had a lot of success doing it that way. If I can't have fun, I don't want to do it.
Did you have a so-called great fighters who came to your place and after a couple of weeks you said, no, thank you very much, go home?
Absolutely. Because listen, if I'm here at 6:30 and this is all you have to do for the run, and you show up at 6:45 and make everybody else wait, then I don't think it's fair. I think if you're doing it to me today, you can do it to me tomorrow.
Good point.
Your time is very important to me. It's extremely important to me. But I want my time to be just as important to you as mine is.
Okay, so now we know the background and what's going on right now in Abel Sanchez's life. Perro Angulo next to us. Hey, Perro. All good? Is he a good trainer?
Honestly, for me, he's the best trainer and the best person. Whatever I know right now, I see not only with my trainer, I see with my dad. Wherever I need it, I told Abel, and Abel give me the solution all the time. That's why I'm very happy to stay with Abel Sanchez.
Thank you. I don't think so you can hear anything better than that from Perro Angulo. So
he still has to run tomorrow, though. He's not getting the day off.
No matter where I'm gonna run tomorrow.
But this was the other part of Abel Sanchez. Maybe some of you guys don't know. It's very quick-witted and very, very funny guy. So what's going on with Perro and the stuff in your life, boxing-wise?
Well,
who are you working with right now?
Yeah, right now we're our last day of sparring was today for Perro Angulo. He fights next Saturday, the 29th, in LA. He fights Caleb Truax. We had obviously a long training camp
from Minnesota.
Yes,
yeah.
Obviously a long training camp because of this situation that the world finds itself in. I tried to mold it in a sense so that it's not going to burn him out and not be ready for a fight. We're as ready as we can be for Caleb Truax. We go into quarantine on Monday in LA, so another fun week.
I mean, everyone who I speak with is having a lot of praises, and I am one of them, about people who are trying to make the events because it's so much harder. I know you are representing fighters as a trainer, but you see all those additional hundreds of rules being implemented just to make the fun, just to make the fight. How is it? Is your role different right now to spoke with Perro or anyone and your fighters? Like, you have to understand. First of all, there's no fans, then no spectators in the arena, then all those tests. It's easy to forget why you're even fighting because there's so many other rules.
Yeah. Can I stop this for a second?
Yes.
Okay. Rafa? Yeah. Unfortunately, this situation, this COVID situation, finds all gyms and all fighters and preparations a little difficult to do. Luckily for me, I'm in a private gym. I'm in a private gym where there's no fans, nobody comes in. Everybody that comes in, I check with a thermometer to make sure that they're okay. Mm-hmm. The two people that came today, for sparring, I had them take a COVID test before they came. They sent me the negative test results. We have to be so careful. We have to be so careful because it's not only us that are putting ourselves at risk. Our families are at risk. But then also the promoters now that are having to live to all these rules and all these costs of tests. And I've been tested for this particular fight. I've been tested 6 times in the nose, and I got one tomorrow, Saturday, and then I got two more on the week of the fight. So it's got to be costing them a pretty penny to put on the shows. Then you compound it by not having fans, not having the ticket sales, and because there's no fans, it's a different situation for the fighters themselves, but it's also a different situation for the environment, the atmosphere. Not all fighters agree with that. Not all fighters are happy with that, but we have no choice, either that or don't work. But the promoters are being so stringent, they have to be, because if one of a team, let's just say for Perro's team, for Angulo's team, there's 5 of us, say one of us is positive, the fight is off. It doesn't have to be Angulo. It could be the coach. Then the fight is off.
We had many cases like that.
Yeah, I know Bob Arum had a couple that fell out. So we have to be so careful on what we do, where we go, how we do it, to make sure that we get to Saturday night, to make sure that we make it to the ring. So it's difficult for the promoters, difficult for the fighter. This is my second fight this year since January. I mean, my last fight was in Monte Carlo in December. They're finally getting back into it. So we don't want to do, as coaches and as gym owners and as fighters, we don't want to do anything to jeopardize our opportunities, because there may not be an opportunity for a while.
You mentioned about some of the fighters saying the whole situation with no fans disagrees with them, or they cannot maybe motivate themselves. But I also heard about some guys who are happy about it, because one thing that they were afraid of is too much pressure because of the fans, because of the, 10,000 seats arena. Does it work both ways? Or maybe I am exaggerating from the other side, because it's always better to have fans for any fighter. You understand the question?
Yeah.
Maybe convoluted, but...
Yeah, I think that you have to take a positive look at it. Mm-hmm. Okay, if some of the guys start complaining because there's no fans, now you're taking a negative look at it. Yeah. So I think you have to be positive. Okay, so yeah, I'll fight without no fans. I like it more because I don't get nervous. But really, I think the fans are what motivates you. When you land a good punch and the crowd goes crazy, either side, doesn't matter, A side or B side, and the crowd goes crazy, I think that motivates you to do better. When you're walking out to the ring and people are chanting and people are yelling your name, that's motivating. It's motivating for a coach. I imagine it's motivating for a fighter also. But some of those fighters that are saying that it's okay with them, I think they're taking a positive look at it, which is really the only thing you can do. Why be negative? And you got a fight coming up, why be negative, right? So, yeah, I'll fight anyway. But I think given the choice, I'm sure that most fighters would rather have not only fans, but some of their fans in the stands.
I cannot not ask you a question about Iron Gassiev. Looking at the shirt you have right now, you all expected great things from absolutely great fighter who started working with you when he was only 19 years old. People forgetting that he was the young man. Not many people believed. You believed from the beginning. What's the situation with Iron right now?
Right now, he's through with the cruiserweights. He's moving up to heavyweight. He's back in Russia, and this COVID situation is in the situation between the countries is a little difficult right now. So he's training over there. He's doing a lot of strength and conditioning.
Are you in contact?
Yes, we talk on WhatsApp and Snapchat and those things. He's about, from the looks of him, he's about 240 right now.
But this is not what you want him to be.
No, what I want him to be that heavy right now, it's okay. When he comes back to camp, what happened the last time that he came back to camp in November of last year is he was about 232, 233. Within a couple of weeks, maybe he was down to 219 again.
Man.
And I don't want that. I want him to lift weights. I want him to grow and to at least stay. I'd like to see him at 232, 235. That's the weight that I think he would be ideal heavyweight at. He'll have speed, he'll have strength, he'll have power. So if I can maintain that weight and continue to work hard like we do here, I think that'd be ideal for him.
There are question marks about even the best cruiserweights coming to the heavyweight division. Even the questions about how good Alexander Usyk would do. What's your opinion about cruiserweights, the best ones like Murat, like Alexander Usyk? their chances against the best. I know none of those guys, like Murat or Alexander, they don't want to be number 9 ranked. This is not what they're coming to the heavyweight division.
They want to be champion.
They want to be champion, realistically.
Realistically, I think that when the cruiserweight moves up without a punch, if he doesn't have a big punch, it's going to be difficult to compete at that level. Because you're talking about, let's say, Tyson Fury weighing 280. Joshua, 250, 255. Yeah. You're talking about some big men. So if you don't have the pop, in Deontay Wilder's case, he may be only 215, 220, but he's got big pop. He could be
actually a cruiserweight.
Yeah, but he's got big pop.
Yeah.
So his right hand kind of equalizes things, equalizes the weight a little bit. But if you don't have that pop at that weight, it's going to be difficult to compete. You're going to have to be able to knock people out or hurt heavyweights. And the advantage that you'll have, though, coming as a cruiserweight, you'll be faster. You'll be faster, not only in your feet, but with your hands. Heavyweights that are 250 and 280, other than Tyson Fury, obviously, are going to be a little bit slower. So the advantage will be that your speed will make up, but you're going to have a little pop to keep them off of you and to hurt them.
So if you can choose train Alexander Usyk, I'm not taking him from his trainer at all. I'm just making the idea. So you're thinking that Murat is better suited for being a superstar than Alexander is.
At this stage, not having Murat
not taking anything from Usyk.
No. Usyk already fought as a cruiserweight. Okay,
yes.
And we saw as a heavyweight.
Yeah,
and we saw what he did as a heavyweight.
Yeah.
He wasn't dominating like you're supposed to be. He's a great fighter.
We all know that.
He's a great fighter. But to move up to heavyweight, you're going to have to be dominating the first time out, the second time out, and that's the only way people are going to mention you to be fighting for a heavyweight title. He's going to get ranked number 1 or number 2 because he's moving up from cruiserweight.
He's a mandatory, if I remember, for World Championship WBO,
right.
so mandatory.
But he needed to be more dominant in his debut as a heavyweight. Murat hasn't had his heavyweight debut. We'll see how he does in his heavyweight debut. If he's dominant in his heavyweight debut and he does what I think he can do, then I think we can judge a little bit better who's going to have a more success. Not saying that they're not going to win. It's how they win.
The last question, because we had a long conversation which was off camera, and it's going to stay off camera. But you mentioned something that it was a couple of times in your career when you were like on the verge of saying, I did enough in this sport. I proved who I am enough. Maybe it's time to take on my second favorite sport, which is golf. If anybody doesn't know, I hope it's not going to happen because, like Perro mentioned, great human being and a great trainer. But you're going to stay in the business. Please say yes.
Well, no, absolutely. I think that there's disappointments.
It's true. You mentioned
there's disappointments that make you rethink. I mean, people don't know that we as coaches we don't just have one fighter. We have 4 or 5 fighters. So that means we have 4 or 5 lives that we're living just with one life ourselves. And we don't get to see our children. We don't get to see our families. We don't get to do a lot of the things that normal people do. Don't get me wrong. It's something that we choose to do. But when you have disappointments, things that get you down, things that don't go the way that you thought they would go, and not necessarily with the fights. I'm talking about outside of boxing. It makes you rethink that. I'm 65 years old.
Young, 65.
Yeah, I'm 65 years young. You're right. I could do this forever. I truly enjoy it. But I think that what keeps me here and keeps me coming to my gym is that these guys, they depend on me. I have a moral commitment to them not to let them down, to be that person that I was when they first started with me. For Gassiev, for Arsengulo Marion, for Michelle Soro, who I talk to consistently, they're chomping at the bit to get here. Again, because they want to go through what Perro's been going through. So that is what really keeps me motivated to continue doing this. But then when there's disappointments, like I said, it makes you rethink it. Right now, my thought is there's no end in sight for me as far as training, but hopefully it stays that way. I'm happy to be here, happy to have my gym, and happy with the kids that I have.
Thank you very much, the one and only Abel Sanchez and the one and only Summit Gym in Big Bear. Thank you very much for for letting me in. I know this is your home, this is your place of work. Thank you very much, Abel.
Thank you, Peter.